Good afternoon. Hello there if you're watching a bit later on. It's time for the Saturday preview here on horseracing.net, taking a look at the televised action that's going to take place on Saturday. And we'll be focusing, as always, on the ITV7 races and hopefully pick as many winners as possible that are going to be televised on Channel 3. And if you're enjoying these previews, make sure you do like and subscribe. Keep them coming back every single week and hopefully give you a chance of landing the ITV7, which of course is the £50,000 game that ITV do for free. Head over to their website if you want to play. And it's a really good day of racing as well, headlined by the Ayr Gold Cup up in Scotland and a really good supporting card at Newbury as well, which includes the Reef Stakes. But the feature is the Ayr Gold Cup, £46,000 race this year, 24 runners heading to the post, and it's where we're going to start. And it's about as competitive as it always is, this race. Plenty to consider here. You could be here all day. And if you do want to study this in more detail, there is a full preview on horseracing.net. I've picked out two, long story short, against the field here, beginning with Stone of Destiny, who I think has a really good chance of winning this. And that's because he arrives here on the back of a valuable success. A few do. He won the Portland Handicap in good style at Doncaster last week. I was taken with the way he came into the race. He travelled into it really well and came with very much with a rattle on the stand side rail to win in the closing stages. Comes here with a £5 penalty as a consequence, but he's very much a resurging type. He's run off higher marks in the past and he does actually have winning form as well off very similar mark here. He won at the Sugar Cup off just £1 lower than the mark here, which is 98. He's got a high draw as well, which means there should be plenty of pace for him to aim at. The likes of Air Raised, Major Jumbo, Bungee Jump have all made the running before in their careers. They're all drawn pretty high. Oisin Murphy's booked to ride as well. He's got excellent form claims here, Stone of Destiny. I think he's got a winning chance. He's about 9 to 1 at the time of recording. Could be worth playing him on the nose. But if you want to have more of a play, if you fancy one having a go and wanted a slightly bigger price, there's worse bets than another bat each way. Now, he's about 16 to 1, 20 to 1, depending on where you shop. And rather than, unlike Stone of Destiny, he comes here on the back of a bit of a poor run. He was down the field in a competitive race at Leopardstown over 7 last week, but that was just his second run of the campaign. He'd won at Firth prior to that, and I think he's worthy of another chance. He strikes me as one who doesn't stay down in the dumps quickly and can bounce back pretty fast. At his best, he's very much a smart sprinter. He's slipped down the weights. He probably doesn't win as often as he should, which is the reason, but it means that he's very well treated on his best form here off his current mark. He very much looks like one that could be well in here. I'm just looking for it on 96 he's off at the moment, which is considerably lower than career high marks. He's run off hundreds in the past. Again, he can be held on to in his races. He should have plenty of pace to aim at. He's in a low draw as opposed to Stone of Destiny. Think he'll be making his play late in the day. Wouldn't be shocked to see him hit the frame at about 16 to 1. So another bat each way as well. Anyway, we'll go back to the start of the offering, as we always do, and it's the 155 at Ayr, which is kicking us off this week. It is the Doonside Cup Stakes. This is a listed race over 10 furlongs, 1 mile and 2. And to put it very, very simply, I think Addeybb is going to take all of the beating here. He's the class act in the field, arrives as a bona fide Group 1 performer, and the key to Addeybb is he generally needs soft ground to be seen to best effect. Now, the official going is good to soft, but I've been watching today the action at Ayr. I think it will suit Addeybb. It'll play into his hands. I think it's his sort of conditions. And based on what he's shown in the past 12 months or so, he should be more than up to defying a penalty here. He was a Group 1 winner, of course, in Australia earlier this year on 2 occasions, and he ran really well when last seen at Ascot in the Prince of Wales Stakes, finished second as well. He very much sets the form standard. He can defy a £7 penalty here with ease, very much expecting to win. And if you can get anything near the 6 to 4 that's on offer at the time of recording, you're getting a very good prospect in Addeybb. The 215 at Newbury is a handicap, Dubai duty-free sponsored, 10 furlongs, 1.25 miles, 13 go to post here. Quite a good prize, £25,000 or just shy of to the winner. Plenty to consider here as well. Some familiar names. Danny, You remember him. He was a really good winner at Goodwood in August. He disappointed at York last time out, but I wouldn't write him off just yet. He's off the same sort of mark here. Tenbury Wells is an upwardly mobile type and arrives here on the back of a really good effort at Sandown last time out when he was second. Starcat, another one, been running in some very competitive races so far this season. Can't discount him, but I'm going to go with Ilaraab. Now, he's a lightly race type. He's only had 4 starts so far, made his debut back in June, but he's come a long way in a short space of time, Ilaraab. He's won each of his last 3 starts and completed a hat-trick in really good style. Well, no, he completed a hat-trick in really game style at Beverley, last time out. That came at the end of last month. He's up £6 for that success, but he strikes you as one who is still open to plenty of improvement yet, particularly on just his 5th start. He's quite a low weight here in comparison with the rest. I think he's pretty unexposed at this sort of level. Fancy Ilaraab to find the necessary improvement to take this at about 9-2. Up next, we go back up to Ayr for the 2:30. This is a nightmarish, hellish affair. It's the Silver Cup. It's a consolation race for the Ayr Gold Cup. We had the Bronze Cup earlier today on the Friday. And this is just as tricky as the feature. 24 go to post. But I must say one rather does stand out this year. We'll get to him. But first talk about some of the other contenders. There's Atalanta's Boy, really very much a progressive type, potentially unlucky not to get into the main race. And that's because he's been in really good form. He was a really impressive winner in a similar sort of event, a competitive event at Goodwood last month. He's up £5 here, but could be open to more improvement. Rathbone is another to consider. He was a close second Ascot last time out and is off the same mark here. Bernardo O'Reilly very much returned to form, somewhat out of the blue at Doncaster last week, but he's still open to scope. He could still find more yet of his sort of mark. He's only up £5 for that success. If he runs to the same sort of level as he did at Doncaster last week, he's one to consider. But I think the way to go here is with King's Lynn, the Royal Runner, who rather stands out because he's got a pretty unusual profile for this kind of race. And it's because he's only had 3 starts so far. But one of his pieces of form very much stands out here from everybody else. And that was to finish second in a novice contest at Doncaster last month. He was 2.5 lengths behind a horse called Starman that day. Starman has gone on to frank the form since in no uncertain terms. You may remember that Starman was a really impressive winner at York last time out. He looks one that is very, very smart. He's heading to the very, very top. So that form suddenly reads really, really well in the context of this race. King's Lynn's opening mark is 94. That's one that could very much underestimate him. He's 7-2 at the time of recording. Looks a long way, potentially ahead of his mark. Should be able to plenty more improvement yet on just his 4th start. He gets the vote with Oisin Murphy booked to ride. On to the 250 now. This is the Legacy Cup Stakes. Used to be the Arc Trial, this. A Group 3 contest, 1.3 miles. Only 4 go to post. Some interesting names in here as well. Elusive, you remember him. Desert Encounter as well. But I think Extra Elusive is going to take all of the beating. He's really come to his own so far this season. Won back-to-back Group 3 contests at Haydock and Windsor last month. And based on that form, he very much sets the standard here. Holly Dore was partnering him for both of those outings. She keeps the ride here. Quite simply think Extra Elusive is the one to beat at this kind of level. Sets the standard, will take some stopping. Last but not least, back to Ayr now for the 305. This is the Firth of Clyde Filly Stakes, a Group 3 contest for 2-year fillies over 6 furlongs. 15 head to post here. And there's a few to keep an eye on, really. There's a Memmis filly, She's So Nice. She finished a pretty good 4th in the Group 2 Lowther Stakes at York last month. Scarlet Bear's another one that's placed in a group race of late. She hit the frame at Salisbury earlier this month in a group contest. And then you've also got others, fillies with slightly different profiles, the likes of Lullaby Moon and Mamba Wamba, who step into this sort of company on the back of impressive wins in novice events last time out. But Kulthum looks like the one to beat here. Now, I mentioned She's So Nice. She was fourth in the Lowther. Umm Kulthum was third. She was 2 lengths and 1 place in front of She's So Nice, and that was despite missing the break. She looks a really smart filly. That form is by far the strongest on offer here. She's about 15-8 for a reason. She's the clear one to beat. Fancy her to justify favouritism and go in here. Umm Kulthum in the Firth of Clyde Filly Stakes. And last but not least is the Group 2 Mill Reef, another Group 2 contest for the 2-year-olds. And this is one that has a bit of a habit of producing stars of the future. Both Ribchester and Harry Angel have both won this in the last 5 years. And there's every chance that we'll see another smart one here. There's a few promising types lurking in the field, including 5,000-1, who, if you were watching Newcastle earlier this month on At the Races, or you've seen the replay, you'll have seen how impressive he was in a novice contest, won as easy as he liked that day. It's difficult to know how strong that sort of form is in a novice race. He steps straight into Group 2 company here, but the vibes from his yard are good. He's a 5-2 favourite, costs an awful lot of money as a yearling as well. It's bred to be better than what he's shown so far. He's open to any amount of improvement and is one to consider, as is the unbeaten Bahrain Pride, who probably isn't quite as open to as much improvement, but he's 2 from 2, won the listed 2-year-old trophy at Ripon last month in good style. He's open to more improvement. And then you've got Devil Waller as well, who was second in the gym crack behind Minzal at York last time. Has no match for that rival that day, but that was still a pretty good effort. And one, he's proven in group company, so very much one to consider. But in terms of having proven group form, Rhythm Master stands out here. He was a winner on debut at Haydock in July in a novice event, and built on that by finishing a brilliant third at Deauville last month in the Group 1 Pre-Morny. Now that form looks very, very strong. He was not beaten awfully far by Campanelle and Nando Parado. Both of those are enjoying fine campaigns, both Royal Ascot winners, of course. That form looks very, very strong. He sets here the standard here, heading on the back of that. There's almost certain to be more improvement to come yet from Rhythm Master on just his third start. Fancy him to win this here, but it looks a red-hot renewal of the Mill Reef Stakes. Could be a few stars for the future. So that was the preview of Saturday's race in action. As always, if you've enjoyed it, do like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter at horseracing_net, and head to the website as well. Got the ITV7 tips all written out. Got an Ayr Gold Cup preview, plenty more to read as well as a preview of the Melbourne Cup too. So we'll be back next week. Until then, take care.